Well, thank you so much for getting the Scarlet Shirt pattern. So let's get started before the head. I do like finishing some parts with bias tape, so I do prefer that. So if you like that, you can go ahead and do that. I'm gonna be showing you all the parts and all the things that I do, like I finish the original Scarlet. After saying that, happy sewing. So we're gonna get started with the paper pattern. You just go ahead and follow the guide. I would recommend you 100% that. I'm using a ruler just to mark the parts where I should cut. The guide will recommend you what parts you should paste first. The most important part is that this mark must be aligned. So the front pattern is not cut on fold, so you will need just one from each side. So for the parts that are on fold, you have to fold your fabric in two and put the pattern close to the edge. So in the interfacing, the part that is shiny is gonna paste to the fabric. So before cutting your pattern, have that in mind. All this project is gonna be with this blue fabric, but you also have times that we will see the red one. So we're gonna mark all the notches and also all the references that we need. You can also mark the seam allowance. It does depend on you. You also have the notches for that. It's really important that you mark where the straps goes from the front. So you can use a chop or anything you need to mark this well. For this, I like to mark my front of the fabric because this is gonna go from the inside. So the interface is gonna go from the wrong side of the fabric. That's why I also like to mark the front. So once you do that, you have to just press with the iron a few minutes and you're good to go. Go with the interfacing of the colors. So we're gonna go and just use one of the color sides. We cut two. And we're gonna go and put the interfacing towards the inside of the fabric. So the front is not gonna have interfacing, just the inside. So the interfacing of the color is a little bit small because you're able to fold it better when we attach it for the body. Now we're gonna do the front straps. So we have to just fold 1 centimeter inside from one of the edges, and then we're gonna fold at the middle, the sides, and we're gonna press with the iron. And then what we have to do is fold this again like we're gonna do in the image. Now we have to start with the front. So we're gonna attach the strap that we just made to the front side. So I'm gonna position all the straps from the raw edge towards the body side. I'm gonna put it where the straps that I mark begin. So I actually always mark the start, but you can go ahead and mark whatever you need. We're gonna get the front facing and put the fronts together. Just check out that everything aligns correctly. And we're gonna sew at 1 centimeter of the edge all along. Once you've done that, we're gonna fold what we just did towards the inside. So we're gonna press towards the facing with the iron, the edge. We do this just when we fold, it's easier to do it. And then we're gonna secure everything with a stitch. Once we finish both sides, I'm gonna check that everything fits correctly and matches good. Once we done that, we're gonna attach the front side. And I'm gonna touch everything the same way. I'm gonna, after attach everything, do the overlock. So I'm gonna put the fronts together and sew from the inside of the shirt. So the front side is a little bit tricky because of the curve. So I would recommend you to go slow and take your time. Body, we're gonna do the zigzag stitch or overlock. It just depends on what you have at home. I'm gonna do zigzag stitch because it's the machine that everybody has. So we're gonna select zigzag stitch. This is the one that I have at my machine. This will prevent your seam from fraying. I actually like to clean a little bit my seam that it frays like while I was doing. After I done that, I'm gonna start with a zigzag stitch. It has to be really close to the edge. Press the seams with an iron from one side of the shirt, and we're gonna do this with all the seams. I actually recommend you to press from the same side the seams. Touch the shoulders, so we're gonna put again the fronts together and sew from the inside. We're gonna do first a single stitch and then we're gonna do a zigzag stitch. attach the collar. So we're gonna start by leaving 1 centimeter from the bottom. You also have it marked with the notches. And once we've done that, we're gonna put the two fronts together. Remember, one side has the interfacing, so that should be looking down. So we're gonna put the two fronts of the fabric together and pin it. Do these little cuts from the inside to all the curved lines, so when we flip it over, it's gonna be easier. We're working from the wrong side of the fabric. Attach the body to the collar. I actually like to mark my middle of the body. You also have this notch. And we're gonna put our fronts together. I usually use the interfacing side. So we're gonna put the front side of the fabric together, and then we're gonna go from one side and then from the other. I find this better because of the curved line. I would recommend you to attach everything and see that it fits correctly, just if you have to change something. Finish that, you're gonna press the seam to the inside of the collar, so you won't be able to see it. Your final collar. Now we're gonna do the armholes. So I actually gonna do this with bias tape because I prefer the finish, but you can go ahead and do whatever technique you like best. We're gonna work from the outside of the fabric, so the front. So we're gonna position the bias tape, the edge, with the edge of the armhole, just like this. Then you're gonna fold it again. This way you won't be able to see the bias tape from the outside of the fabric. I'm gonna do all this by pressing with this iron. I'm not gonna do any stitch yet. After I double press, then I'm gonna go ahead and do a secure stitch from the outside of the fabric. Last step, we're gonna do the hem. You can adjust whatever you need to. And we're gonna use the same technique that we use for the armhole. So we're gonna attach the bias tape as same as we did with the armhole. We're gonna put the edges together. press it over and towards the inside of the bodies. And we're gonna use the iron to press everything. The edges, I usually put 1 centimeter inside of the bias tape. So now we're gonna flip it over again towards the inside of the bodies. So this way you won't be able to see the bias tape from the outside. What we're gonna do is just to sew one time. So we're gonna double pressing it with the iron, just like this. We're gonna secure it really close to the bias. And this is how it's gonna look like from the outside and from the inside. And this is your final Scarlet Summer shirt. I think I'm in love. I actually really like this combo color. I think it looks really good. You should go ahead and try it.